Hi, this is Ann Obarski, and I'm pleased to be presenting to you today Be an Ace, 8 Steps to Delivering Astonishing Customer Experiences. Today, we're going to take a spin around your business and we're going to kind of do a quiz. You know, when the teacher used to come in middle school and say, put your books underneath your desk, we're going to have a quiz. Well, that's what we're going to do today. And it's not going to hurt, I promise, and it's only going to help. But ouch, if it looked like that and we were taking a spin around the business, it might not be going too well because we have a flat tire. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had this happen? Have you ever gone out to your garage or out in the driveway and you looked down and you went, I don't need this to happen today? But you had an inkling that something was going on. You had that feeling. Maybe you heard that hissing. Maybe it was starting to look a little flat on the bottom because you know it's only flat on the bottom. And you said, I'll take care of it another time. I'll go get it patched. Well, sometimes our businesses are like this. Sometimes they're not all the way flat, but sometimes we hear hissing and we don't do anything about it. And we just say, it's okay. I'll fix it later. I don't have time. I don't have enough salespeople. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I wear too many hats, too many excuses. So let's start taking a look at 8 areas that you could listen to see if there's any hissing. I'm going to also challenge you that I'm going to give you a format, and hopefully you'll be able to get that on my profile page that you have access to for the conference, and that you'll be able to give a 1-page quiz. Don't you love the word quiz? Quiz to your employees and say, hey, I need some feedback here. I went to this webinar. I sat in on this webinar. This woman talked about having a quiz. I need you to fill this out. You'll understand more when we start taking a look at it. And it's going to look like this. It's going to be as a matter of fact, I'm going to try and get it on my profile for the conference so that you can go and download it. I'm going to challenge you to give one, make a bunch of copies. I don't care. Make a bunch of copies, give them to your people and have them grade your store as well so that we can now come to a conclusion altogether of what are some of the top 3 areas maybe that we need to be working on. I'm not going to tell you to do all 8. That's silly. But we're going to take a look at maybe 1 or 2 that you say, I really need to be working on. Here's how it's going to look. Each time we do a section, and there will be 8 of them, you will be grading yourself. You're going to be grading yourself from your standpoint saying, gosh, we couldn't be any better. We're astonishing. And you'll give yourself a 4. You may say to yourself, well, we're doing a nice job. So we're going to give ourselves a 3. And then maybe, oh, it's okay, I guess. And that's a 2. And then number 1, well, ouch, I think it needs some help. So let's get started on the very first one. The very first one is your marketing. And when we look at your marketing, what's your story? What do people relate about your business to somebody else? Why should they come to see you? Why should they come buy things from you? So this is what we're going to be taking a look at is what's your story? And we know that from marketing that we have what's called influencer marketing. We also know that there's an awful lot of money that's made out there by word of mouth, which is why I have that great big mouth there, that influencer marketing, that people tell other people about what they like and what they don't like. And that's how we kind of start getting our new customers. We also know that marketers don't sell products anymore. They sell relationships. You know, think about if you were watching the Super Bowl ads this year, any year, you saw relationships. My favorite ones always, because I used to live in St. Louis for a while, were always Budweiser, always of the Clydesdale, always of the dogs and the big noses on the Clydesdale horses that were touching them. They weren't selling beer, they were selling a relationship. So think about that when you are doing your marketing. If you have other people who work for you that you are delegating your marketing to, there are 3 things that all marketers need to take a look at. And they need to realize this as they are developing it. So if you have someone that you've said, I want you to do our Facebook ads, I want you to do our Instagram posts, really, really make sure and double check that they're using these 3 quadrants, if you will, when they are developing that marketing. Number 1 is, why should I care? Now, mind you, that's coming from the customer's mind. So if I'm looking at a Facebook ad, why should I care? You know, what's in it for me And why should I believe you? What's in it for me is important. Is it going to save me time and money and energy and all of those things? And is there a trust? Do I trust you? You know, when I come into your pet store, do I look at you as the vet, doctor, as the person that if I can't get to the vet, well, I sure know that the person who is in my pet store is a person to go after. So let's take a look at this as far as the goal. We know what we should do in development, but what's the goal? The goal is to build trust, to connect, and to create a loyal following. I want people following, you know, and we know that with our digital platforms that that's extremely important. One of the ones, do you know what this is on the left-hand side? You better. That one is Instagram. And it's, you know, people used to ask me all the time when I would go around the country and do my presentations, they go, Ann, what are the top ones that I should be on? Should I be on Twitter? Should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be on all these little, you know what? Only do the ones that you really feel that your customers are on. I always liked LinkedIn for business to business, but where are my customers? Where are they? Because you want to be where they are. Well, if you take a look at Instagram, take a look at the numbers here. That's crazy. 73 or 71% of businesses use Instagram and 1 billion users every month. The average time spent is what? I've got my notes here, 53 minutes, 53, like an hour on Instagram. Well, those kind of things are important. I don't know if you consider this a digital platform, but I have been recommending this one to many people, is Nextdoor. If you live in a suburban area and you have a neighborhood, more than likely you have the capability of connecting on Nextdoor. Well, here's what we also know, that many women are on Nextdoor, more on social media than men, and that they love to give advice and they love to give recommendations. And Nextdoor can be one of your best platforms for getting business. I.e., I have seen many times, hey, I've just moved into the neighborhood. I moved from another state. I've got a dog and 3 cats. I'm looking for a vet that really is going to be kind and wonderful and I can get into and that I know I'm going to love. And you start watching, all those recommendations come from little Nextdoor. You won't hear very many people talk about it, but frankly, if you can get a testimonial on there, you can definitely see changes in your business. Now I'm going to have little faces after each one of these 8 that we're talking about, and they're going to look like a surprised face. And this little guy's got that surprised face. And if you're as old as I am, you probably remember Scooby-Doo. So I want that kind of, oh my gosh, look at their marketing. So if you are now going to rate and grade your marketing, what would you give yourself? A 4 for astonishing? A 2 for did a nice job? Come on, be real. 2, it's okay, I guess. And 1, ouch, boy, I really need to be working on it. So that's the first one. Let's kind of get in the car and we're going to start taking a look at the next one, which happens to be your exterior experience. What's going on in the exterior? Are you easy to find? You know, if I go on Yelp, can I find you? If I go into your website, can I find the directions? How easy is it for me to find you? Is there excellent signage out front? Is the parking and the entrance exciting? Or at least something that I go, I can't wait to go in there. Remember, if I'm just new to the community, or if I've just gotten a recommendation, this would be the very first time I pulled into your parking lot. But what is that call to action? Notice it's a verb. I want you to get out of your car and be so excited to come into my store. And if I look at it, is it going to look something cool like this? California, I think was when I took that picture. Or is it going to be all their little butts? I mean, come on, right? It's a window display. And frankly, because I'm nosy, I would love to know, what are they all looking at? Because I want to come on the inside. Wouldn't you want to know that too? And this used to be in a mall where I lived in Ohio, and I thought it was such a cool location because they actually had dog prints on the flooring right outside of the door when you came in, and it looked like Moochie's house. And I just thought it was just the cutest thing from the exterior. So we're going to do this quickly, but what's that astonishing thing when it comes to your exterior experience? Now, you already know the drill. It's a 4, 3, 2, or 1. Be brutally honest, because I'm going to challenge you to get all of your employees to do the same quiz. And even if you think you're really wonderful, somebody is going to say, you know, I think we could do a better job at our windows. I think we could do a better job of signing. So let's move on to the next one, which is your first impressions. And first impressions are so critical. And with our ACE model and the first impression, we have a transition. And I want you to remember real quickly here is that some doorways are different. You will go into some stores that there's double doors, and that's where we call that a decompression zone. So I'm in the parking lot, I'm going through the decompression zone. I can't wait to go through the next door. Now I'm ready to shop with you. Some stores don't have that. Some stores are just one door and they come in. But during that time that you're coming in through those doors, I want you to think about triggering the senses: smell, taste, sight, touch, hearing. What are all those senses being touched with when they walk through the door? So maybe it's something like this one, where it's formed in the first 10 seconds. You look at the exterior, you look at the front door, you look at the windows, and the customer makes assumptions as they're coming right in. I'm like, wow, I want to go over and look at all of those cool collars. Look at how cool they are colorized. I want to take a look at that. Maybe it's something like this is a favorite one to always share with my pet people because I loved it. It's when I did live in St. Louis. It was my favorite pet store because it's a bakery, for crying out loud. And the girl who was the manager wore a cute little apron and she had flour all over her and she would be making dog bones and biscuits. And she had this really cool kitchen table. And well, frankly, it was nostalgia on overload. So it was something I adored. But then again, I like glamour. So maybe something like this is something that hits you when you first come in as a first impression. Another favorite one of my stores that I took pictures of is when I lived in Columbus, Ohio. And I just thought it was, you know, this is not like a stellar merchandising display. I would not give it an like an A+, but darn, it's cute. And it made me stop. And I thought, wow, it's just too cute. So I like cute. And then I also like going, oh my word. So when you are take a look at your first impressions, what are you giving yourself? Are you giving yourself an A or a 4, astonishing? Are you giving yourself a 3? Nice job. 2, okay, and 1. So you got the grid now, and you're going, oh, the numbers aren't looking too good, and we're only to the 4th one. All right, our 4th one is product displays, and it's going to kind of piggyback onto the one that we just had. 85% of what we remember comes through sight. So again, think about it. All the stuff that we've been seeing marketing through sight, right? We've been seeing your exterior experience through sight, first impressions, sight. Now we're coming in. Everything that we do, we're remembering through sight. Sometimes, like in our own homes, if I asked you, do you have dust underneath your bed? You'd go, I don't know, Ann, I haven't looked. Well, that's the problem. We don't look. We get too used to it, too complacent, and we don't notice what's going on. That's why I'm challenging you to get other people to help you with this so that you can take a look. Oops, we want to go back to that one because it's just too darn cute. How could you not take that bathtub, paint it, put those little dots on it, and put those Dalmatians in there? Is that just not adorable? So when we start looking at product displays, displays are not your merchandising. They're two different things. Displays are standalones. There are things that make you stop, want to pick it up, want to put it in the cart, want to carry it, want to buy it. Your other merchandising, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, is more of your store merchandising all the way around. Displays, I kind of look at it like earrings or mascara. It's like, and of course, wouldn't I say that? But it adds excitement. It adds that little difference. And so even just something like this, we look at color, making it all one color. The one on the right-hand side is Halloween. We look at a very clean, I guess is the word I would look at this store. Small. I'm going to assume that back wall is a chalk paint. and that they are able to put different things up there, but very neat, very clean, very well displayed, makes it very easy for me when I walk into. How about this aquarium? Are you kidding me? What a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of wood. That's the first thing that I thought of. And I went, I want to go over there and take a look. Frankly, I'd like to have that in my house, but I'd have to have like a gigantic house. So that isn't going to happen anytime soon. So when we are talking about product displays, what are you currently doing? And I want you to be really, really honest on these, because this is an area that we are all great at. We like something that's really pretty, but we're also not really good at teaching it. And if you've got somebody who works for you who's really good at doing your displays, by all, keep them, motivate them, reward them, because this is critical for your customers. So you know the drill, a 4, 3, 2, or 1. All right, your next one. Well, you can't do it without employees, right? So we're going to talk about your employees, because to create an astonishing experience, you can have all the beautiful things in the world. You can have great windows. You can have great things. But if your customers aren't feeling the love from your employees, or they're being ignored, or they're standing behind the sales desk or what have you going, did you find everything that you wanted? Next, right? There's no connection there. They don't know your name. For goodness sake, my goodness, if you've got a pet store, you should know the people's names that are walking through your door, because frankly, they're probably coming on a frequent basis. So when customers are making assumptions, they're going to make assumptions about your hiring, your training, and your leadership. Have you never said these words? Well, I wonder where they hired them from. Or, didn't they ever train them on the register? Why are we waiting so long? Why do they have to ask for the manager? And then they might say, you know what? I don't know who their boss is, but I can't imagine working for them. So your customer is going to make a decision. They're going to make an opinion based on what they see, right or wrong. So I want you to work on a contagious attitude. Now, you might not like this word contagious. I've been using it. I've been in business 37 years. I've been using that word contagious for a long time. And last year I had people say to me, Ann, you can't use that word anymore. And I'm like, why not? Why not? Because contagious is spreading, but it can be spreading in a good way. We've seen it happen this year. So let's spread a contagious attitude, and what is involved in a contagious attitude and how you need to build that with the people who work for you. Listening skills are critical. Now that people are wearing masks, you got to look them straight in the eye. I used to say, look your customer in the eye long enough that you can tell me what color their eyes are. Next, be engaged. Be engaged in such a way that you are understanding what they are trying to tell you. Be a problem solver. You are the problem solver. You are the one that knows what they need, and you need to be empowered. If you're a leader, empower your salespeople to do that. Wouldn't it be nice not to have to hear, hey, I have to ask my manager because I'm just not sure. I don't know when we're going to, and it could be next week. Can I get your email? I'll email you. And then they never do. So a contagious attitude is one that I want to help you in any way I can. And I'm going to now, as long as we're wearing masks, I'm going to be visually listening to you and connecting with you and hearing, because those masks don't make it easy to hear. Am I right? All right. What kind of team do you have? Does your team make you go, oh my gosh, they are the best people ever? You're going to have to be really, really good on this one, because if this one comes back from your employees, a 4, 3, 2, or 1, you might have to have a little discussion of what's going on. So let's move along to the next one. And the next one is your product presentation. Product presentation, you're going to say, Ann, isn't that the kind of like the same thing that we were looking at when we were looking at displays? Well, not really. I want you to take a look at your store when you walk through the front door. Is it a racetrack? A racetrack means at the top. Notice, and we showed that picture earlier, that you can kind of make your way around the store. If we look to the left, which is a grid layout design, that it's a grocery store. I apologize, but it's a grocery store, and that's the easiest way for me to explain that it's a grid. Or is it a free form design where you've got a small pet store so that you have the ability to do displays and you have also that ability to have things around the store, around on the perimeter? You have unusual ways to display. Take a look at this one. I worked with this particular pet store and we came up with these great chalkboard names across the top. We came up with those cute little tags that go down the bottom, and yet it is still in a grid. It is still going up and down the aisle. It's still making it unusual. I worked with this company out in Portland, Oregon, and we redid their whole store. We repainted. If you take a look at the very top, I'm so proud of this one. The pictures that are going around the very, very top up by the ceiling were pictures that were brought in or sent in to the pet store by local customers, and they blew them up and they put them up on the wall, and then they had voting on them, and then those people were allowed to take their pictures home and have those pictures. But we also noticed that there's great end caps, there's great merchandising and great signing around through the store. So what are you doing? And again, I apologize because this is really, really short. But what are you doing on your product presentation? Are you moving things around? Are you making it easy for the customer to get through the aisles, to bend over, to pick things up? What are you doing that makes that customer go, oh my gosh, you are astonishing? And so again, when we talk about astonishing customer experience, this one comes into play with product presentation. So give yourself a 4, 3, 2, or 1. Next one is my favorite. This is called the pink pig. And the pink pig to me is something that stands out, that's so different, that you do, that people go, oh my gosh, you've got to see this. Have you ever done that where you were on Facebook and you saw something funny and you said to yourself, I got to show this to somebody, and you go, look at this. That's kind of that pink pig idea. And so we look at this one and we say to ourselves, oh my gosh, that's kind of a fun entry on that one. We also look at, and I will tell you, I took this at the Atlanta Mart just because I kind of thought, wow, they were really thinking when they did that window. But are your windows your pink pigs? Are they something that people go, I can't wait to see what they've got in the window this time? You know, toy testing area. How cute is that? Bring my animal in. I can find out whether or not they love that toy. How about a fun couch? You know, I would say to my girlfriend and I, hey, let's go over there and just grab a latte and we'll just sit on that cool couch. And again, this was my friends out in Portland, Oregon. They had a friend out there that actually made this dog sculpture, and it's the store greeter. So that store greeter sits out front. So I go, oh, you know that pet store? They're the ones that have that gorgeous wood in front of the store because it's their pink pig. So what do you do that's different? What do you do that's unusual? You know, Seth Godin is an excellent author, and he talks about the fact if your customer's not aware of us, would they choose us? And it's all about your brand. What are you doing with your brand? Whoa, look at that little kid's face. So it's astonishing when we talk about this of what is your pink pig. And I will say, I'd love to know. Email me, text me. I'd love to know if you sit down with your employees and they're all doing this quiz. I'd love to know what they think the pink pig is, because it could be a lot of things. It could be your customers, it could be your employees, it could be products, it could be your windows, it could be your exterior, it could be a lot of things. But it needs to be one thing that is something that sticks out, because if not, you're a commodity and I can get you anywhere. And you don't want your customers saying, you know what, I couldn't find it in here, I'm going to buy it on the internet. That is the one thing we want to avoid. So when we look at it, I'd love to know, are you astonished? I'm not. I'm still at work on this. Astonishing, nice job. Okay, I guess. And ouch, she just got me. All right, the next one is frankly our last one, and it is the whole interior experience. This is the interior experience that gets you all the way around the store. It gets you from the parking lot, in the front door, in the store, all the way around to the sales desk to buy something. And I know that from a retail standpoint, And if we got real number oriented here, remember when I took you back and said, we talked about the stores and we talked about they're on a racetrack on their grid. You should know on every aisle, on every shelf, on every display, what the turnover is, what the gross margin is, vendors you use are, all of the details about everything in your store and how it is selling. And we talk about that as sales per square foot. So if I come into your store and I ask you how many square feet you have, not counting a back stock room, I want to know how much your sales per square foot are. Extremely important. Oh, well, that stuff's been back there for a while. You know, we've had that for over a year. You know, I just bring that back. People don't buy those sweaters for their dogs, or those cat poles have been here forever. I want to know what those sales per square foot are. But I'm going to challenge you to swing in a different direction and do wonder per square foot, so that when I stop and I look at things, I go, oh, that is really beautiful. Wow, look at how beautifully displayed their merchandise is. Wow, did they just get stock in? Because when we take a look at that, you're going to balance these two, because we know we have to have sales per square foot, right? You have to. But if we can balance the sales per square foot and the wonder per square foot, then you have the challenge of having a better business and having more astonishing customer experiences. That's my goal. And I think my dog thinks that when I go, we're going to the pet store, right? How many of you have those, right? So when we look at that whole experience, I want you to really, now this is like finals day. We've gone through everything. We had you out in the parking lot. We brought you through the store. We've looked at everything, displays and what you do differently in your team. And now, what was that whole experience? Because that whole experience means I'm going to take out a credit card, or most of the time I'm going to take out a credit card. I don't think I carry cash anymore. And I don't carry a checkbook, but I'm going to take out that credit card and I'm going to swipe it, tap it, or do whatever I want to do to give you money for merchandise that I know is going to help me. So give yourself a score, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Well, we're back to the original format. There are 8 on there. Do you have numbers for each one of those 8? If my math tells me 8 times 4 is 32, 32 means you got a great score. You need to start teaching next year at GPE. But if not, circle the ones that you go, these are 3 or 2 or 1 that we are going to work on. And then take the same form, print it off, have your people do it, and have a huddle, or have, better yet, a training time when you sit down and you get this all out. I've worked with companies before with pet stores, and we would put it out onto flip charts and we look at it, and you get the feedback from your employees who talk to the customers every day. They're belly to belly with the customer every day. And now you will have a better way to deep dive into those areas that are going to be so important, that when they are fixed and when they are just tweaked a little bit, you get people just love your pet store. We love coming there. I have loved being with you today. Again, my name is Ann Obarski. The name of my company is Merchandise Concepts. You can find me on the web. Easy to find. I'm easy to chat with. So if you've got a question that you want to ask me, burning desire, please let me know. And it has, again, been my pleasure. I hope that you make it a fabulous, contagious day and go out there and be an ace. Use one of those steps to be doing that astonishing customer service and experience. And you may have people that come in and go, "Ooh, I hope you've had a great day." Make it a great day. And maybe our paths will cross soon.